I know money's tight. Only taxes are the highest in the nation. And it's imperative that we properly budget for education without sacrificing its programming. But that also means we must continue to strive to maintain our cost effectiveness, avoid wasteful spending, and excessive taxation. So, Amber, you have an opponent to this primary. What are some of the issues currently facing DuPage educational programming that you feel your opponent would be inadequately prepared to address if elected? And if you're reelected, how would you continue to improve the regional office?
First off, I also want to point out, because this is something a lot of people don't know, the Regional Office of Education is not a taxing body. We're different than school districts, which they are able to levy taxes. So we don't have that benefit. So we have to be very creative and also extremely efficient in what we do because we have limited resources. I believe my opponent is a classroom teacher, which is a noble profession, I feel. In fact, I started my career as a teacher myself. You mentioned that earlier. I've been an instructional coach, an assistant principal, and a principal. And when I was in those roles, I became very familiar with resources to be able to help students. In fact, I used many aspects of the regional office. Typically, when you are a teacher, you're going to be familiar with the teaching license aspect and the professional learning aspect. When I went into administration, I learned all about truancy, which is another required role of my office, but I used that service. I used the alternative education services that we provide. So students who make some errors when they're in school, they make mistakes, like maybe they bring a weapon to school, or they sell drugs, or they get into fights, rather than just expelling them out of school and not having any other opportunities, they can come to our regional safe school. So that is something that our office provides. We also provide an opportunity for students who've maybe gotten behind in their credits at the high school level to come and make up credits and eventually be able to take the GED and get their high school equivalency diploma, which is a big deal, so that they can be able to move into the working world, right? That's really important. Using those two services, I was experienced with that. When students experience homelessness, there's McKinney-Vento services that are done through the ROE. I also was able to go through that. On the flip side, not a required service, but I'm so pleased that I was able to be part of it. I was part of a research study as a principal. Now, on the flip side, I'm helping to continue guide that research study. So knowing about those services and understanding the relationship between what the ROE has, what the ROE can secure through partnerships with other people in the community, I feel like our office is able to do things very effectively. And someone coming in who has never needed to do any of those things, they're going to be starting back and trying to be learning that process instead of being able to hit the ground running and move forward. So at this point, we're looking for efficiencies, right? We're looking to make continuous improvement, whereas someone else wouldn't even know where to begin.